What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Solo. And to end this year off, let's start it with a psalm, okay? This is Psalm 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Amen. Guys, also make sure to get tuned into the Patreon. You guys know I'm active there more than so on YouTube. You can get exclusive access to my latest picks along with predictions. Also, you get access to my 2024 Trendsetter Crypto tiers list. These are all the coins that I reviewed this year alone, okay? It's about 100 coins. That doesn't even include meme coins that I looked at, as well as Hall of Fame coins. And, you get the best rated coins to the worst rated coins, okay? Now, guys, today we're going to talk about how you can't save everybody and Bitcoin derangement syndrome, okay? And some of you may have never heard of that saying, so let me give you the definition. This is by the BitcoinManual.com. Bitcoin derangement syndrome stems from range of concerns from the legitimacy of money, fears that it's a Ponzi, that it's that's a foreign government Trojan horse, and that it's a frenzy made for speculators, to concerns over the environmental impact of mining. Bitcoin derangement syndrome symptoms are the dismissal of any positive aspects related to Bitcoin, along with its unrelenting urge to paint negative light. The syndrome appears to be the result of a gradual buildup of regret and feeling that they were too late in buying Bitcoin. Instead of having the humility to accept that they were wrong about Bitcoin, they now dedicate their time to hopeless attempts at attacking it and pushing for Bitcoin's failure in a bid to prove themselves right. Okay, guys, now Bitcoin derangement syndrome, it's not just in regards to Bitcoin, I would say, but cryptocurrency in general, right? And I know that when we're looking at the cryptocurrency market, we have ETFs as I'm making this video. By the time most people will see this, it'll be 2025. But we have it for Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? And I'm expecting in 2025, XRP, BNB and Solana, ADA, Doge, along with Chainlink, Shiba Inu to have their own ETFs as well, okay? So why am I making this video? Well, first of all, guys, right, here's the thing. In 2017, when I first heard about Bitcoin, I was excited, right? Because, matter of fact, I heard about Bitcoin in 2013 from a news show when they were talking about Silk Road and saying that it was called the drug dealer's coin, right? And I was like, right? And you realize now, looking back to it, 2013, how the legacy media painted such a negative narrative when it came to crypto, right? And even so now, to this day, they still do. Like I saw this here by Lipstick Alley. They said crypto marketing attracted a disproportionate number of black investors. Here's why. And then here they've got some other threads that are just negative, right? And I'm not really, let me just click on this, because when you read the headline, right, the black investors who were burned by Bitcoin, right? Just a bunch of negative threads, and this was 2022, right? You notice for people that are in crypto that the talking point of Bitcoin hasn't become more positive until this year when ETFs got approved. Now, some people might say it's been positive for a while, but for the most part, it's very negative, particularly when we're talking about black investors, right? And that is a different topic in itself that I have to cover in another podcast, because the black investor, that's a whole different topic than when we're talking about investing in general, okay? But here's the thing, why am I talking about Bitcoin derangement syndrome? What happens is so I heard about Bitcoin in 2013 because of they did a special on TV about Silk Road. I thought it was a scam. Then 2016, a couple brothers, when I had my other YouTube channel, when that was popping, I had brothers tell me about crypto in 2016, but I had no idea what they were talking about. Like, I understood the premise, but I'm a visual person, right? So I need to see what is being talked about because it makes more sense to me than that. You know what I mean? So they were talking about Jack's Wallet. Jack's Wallet was popular at the time. I don't know if people still use Jack's. I mean, this was 2016, 2017, right? And these brothers were already in crypto and they were telling me about it. And they were trying to get me on, but I just didn't. It was intimidating, right? I'm going to be honest. When you hear about something that you are not, number one, that you're not familiar with, and then you kind of don't grasp it right away, it's intimidating. So I kind of pushed it to the side, right? Well, then, of course, everybody knows that I heard about Bitcoin from a friend of mine, and he had a blog at the time that was popular, and it made so much more sense because of how he was able to break it down into layman terms, you know what I mean? And the rest is history. So, of course, what I did is I made videos, started talking about it on my main channel, created this channel, and boom, here comes the neg train, right? People are saying, oh, it's a scam. Oh, brother, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, this and that, okay? And I believed in Bitcoin and crypto so much that I would tell anybody, all my friends I told, even random strangers. And I always tell the story about, and I know I've mentioned the story a gazillion times. I was in Chino Latinos. It was a popular restaurant in my city. And I was talking to this financial advisor. I didn't know the guy. I just happened to be at the restaurant, at the bar. And, I was asking him about crypto and I was telling him about it. And at that time, I was just so bullish. And the financial advisor just got annoyed with me because he didn't know as much as I did. And then he pulled out his BMW or Mercedes-Benz car keys flustered and says, I drive a Benz. What do you drive? And I'm like, oh, okay. And see, that's and I never mentioned this, but the financial advisor was black, right? And why is that important? Well, it's important because I'll get to that later part, but it's important because one thing I've noticed, and I'm not trying to make it about race, right? But I've noticed that if you watch white crypto YouTubers or Asian crypto YouTubers, right? Nobody questions their credibility in regards to that, if they know what they're talking about or not, because of, you know what I mean? Like, nobody questions their credibility. Matter of fact, if you're white or Asian, it's kind of like, it's kind of hush-hush, but it's kind of like you're already credible. Because, think about it. If you watch an Asian YouTuber talk about crypto, Asians have what? They have a reputation of being smart, right? When it comes to mathematics and tech, right? They have that reputation. So when you watch an Asian guy talk about crypto, you're like, oh, he must know what he's talking about. He's an Asian guy. He's wearing glasses. Yeah, he must know, right? When you hear a white guy talking about crypto, he must know what he's talking about. But in the black community, it's one thing where people are skeptical, right? Because a black man talking about finances, oh, he must be a scammer, because that's not something that is part of our image as black folks. We don't have the image of being known as intellectuals when it comes to the tech spaces, right? Or this and that. And so it makes it a challenge to overcome. And let me just say this. I'm not here to whine about, oh, woe is me because I'm a black man talking about crypto. That's not what this is about. But what I'm saying is this. When I first started talking to crypto, you guys got to remember, my audience in my main channel is mostly black men at the time. So I was met with a lot of skepticism. That's what I'm saying, okay? And then I'm telling you the story about me going back and forth with the financial advisor at the restaurant. He's a black man too, right? And he didn't believe me, okay? So here's the thing, and this may sound counterproductive, but when you are, what you're going to see happening in 2025, right, is with the rise of crypto, you're going to see more people come in than ever. And be careful casting your pearls before swine. Let me say that again. Be careful casting your pearls before swine. Now, that's not to say that your friends are swine. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm saying is this, is you're going to have a lot of people come asking you about crypto, this and that. And what happens is that you try to give them the game, right? But the thing about it is that 90% of them are going to fail. And the reason why 90% of your friends, family, or whoever you tell about crypto are going to fail is because you don't get, when you, in the crypto space, there's no such thing as a quick answer. People want, and I've had this, I've had people come up, even people that are, well-known, celebrities, right? And I'm not making this up. DM me and say, hey, which crypto should I buy? People want you to give them a list of crypto to buy that are brand new to the space. They don't understand what blockchain is. They don't understand how, what a ledger is, a private wallet. They don't understand any of this. They just want you to tell them what to buy. And that's a recipe for disaster, because anybody in the crypto space, as well as I know, there's a steep learning curve when it comes to crypto. One doesn't just, learn about crypto in one day. It doesn't work like that. And so when you try to explain this to people, right, you have to understand that, and most of you who are watching this, if you've been in crypto for one cycle, meaning 4 years, you understand, and you've done the due diligence, you understand that there's a lot of research that goes into this. There's a lot of research when you look at the tokenomics, like look at XRP, you look at the market cap, right? Understanding the value, the circulating supply, the total supply. There's a lot that goes into it. We've talked about this before. And what happens is that you have people that don't even understand this, and they come into this space, they're going to ask you, hey, what should I invest in, or what should I buy? And then what happens is that they're going to hold you to that coin. So for example, let's say I tell you, hey, buy XRP at 208, right? And you buy XRP. XRP goes to $3. I tell you, hey, it may go to $4. But then XRP, instead of going to $4 from $3, it goes from $3 to $1.50. Now you're pissed at me, excuse my language, but now you're ticked off at me because it crashed. You sell in fear, and now you're mad at me. This has happened so many times. And what people don't understand is, and I've told this to people, is crypto is very volatile. It's not like stocks, where it does 2, 3, 4, 5% a day. It's not like that. Crypto can do 30% up in a day or 60% down in a day, right? Not all, but you guys get the point, right? And people don't understand that. And so people are going to tie the result of the crypto to you. Even with my viewing audience, they do the same thing. If a crypto does well, salute to Solo. If a crypto does trash, man, I'm unsubscribing. I've seen it so many times. And this is one of the reasons why I run my channel differently. I focus more on the utility and adoption of what crypto can be for the future, right? Yes, I talk a lot about price. I'm not capping, because you know what? You gotta get sucker people in with the honey, right? That's just what it is. But when you look at something like this, right, with the crypto tiers list, when I'm breaking crypto down, with the circulating supply, using tokenomics, as well as doing a deep dive with the research, right? It's more than just telling you, hey, this coin is going to go up, this and that. When we're looking at the research, coins like this, we're looking at the numbers as to why a coin could do a 10x or even 100x. We're looking at the tokenomics, things like that, right? And the average person that gets into crypto, they don't even think like that. Because what they think is, well, my boy told me if I put $100 into Shiba Inu, my bird blew, meaning it'll hit $1 billion. And guys, I've had this happen before in 2021, right? I had one of my boys text me because he knew I was talking about crypto. He's like, yo, man, do you think I can make $1 million off Shiba Inu if it hits $100? Now, mind you, this was before prophetic intel and all of that, before I was aware of that. So shout out to the prophetic community. Please don't judge. Okay. But I told him, huh? And literally, we got on the phone. And for an hour, I broke down to him just the basics of tokenomics. You know what I'm saying? Market cap, volume, circulating, I broke that down to him for an hour. And I sent him an email, right? But then I thought to myself, how many people hear from a friend that, hey, if you put $100 into this coin or that coin, you can make $1 million, this and that. And then they believe that person because, you know, you hear the frenzy that happened with Dogecoin in 2020 and 2021, right? You hear that frenzy. And then, now I know that if you're part of the prophetic community, $100 to $1 million is possible, wish it, but I'm talking about from a perspective of a person who is not, prophetically inclined, but going into this as just a regular person, okay? So what I'm saying is this, that there's a lot of people that there's a lot of research that goes into this, and most people just are not going to do that. They're just not going to do that research. And for people that have been here consistently, you know what that research entails. It's not easy. And you have to understand how the markets work. You have to understand buy the rumor, sell the news, the politics and stuff like that, right? So my thing is this. At this point, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I don't try to convince people anymore about crypto. I don't. And I know that may sound crazy because I know you're like, wait, aren't you a YouTuber? What do you mean you don't tell people about crypto? And I'm gonna just be honest. And this is what I mean. I'm talking about I don't go out of my way anymore to talk to strangers in restaurants like the financial manager or people on the street. Yes, I used to talk to people on the street about crypto as well. Those would be the after party nights, right? And even with friends, I don't go out of my way to tell them now. I just keep it to myself, right? Now, this was posted by Indy, a person on X.com. He mentions rule 1 of crypto, tell outsiders nothing. I made the mistake of telling a friend I was dabbling in crypto. Most days he would ask how much I made. To get him off my back, I said it's worth nothing. He laughed at me. Just goes to show not everyone wants to see you winning. Yeah. And here's the crazy part. If Indy would have said, yo, I just made 100,000, that friend would have been under that Bitcoin derangement syndrome, right? And so here's the reality. Number one, if you tell, and let me explain, and I got to be clear because I know people like to besmirch my words or people don't really listen, but this is the podcast, so I really get to rock and say what I want to say, right? But here's the thing. If you have a friend ask you about crypto, the main important thing you got to emphasize to them is that it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? It's not. A lot of people think, oh, if I get into crypto, I can be rich, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we all hope to get rich. But people think, like my friend that called me, that if they put $100 into Shiba Inu, like he did in 2021, it'll turn into $1 million. And that didn't happen in 2021. Will it happen in 2025? Lord, we hope so. We pray so, right? But here's the reality. The main thing you have to emphasize this is that most people, and this is not, and I don't have any empirical evidence to support this, but most people don't get rich until the second or third cycle. For most people that I've seen, the first cycle is kind of like, okay, that's where we like learn. The second cycle can also be a cycle where you learn, but that's where you might make hundreds of thousands. And then the third cycle is where some people, it clicks, right? The reality is you have some people who come in and they want to make money in their first cycle. And typically the first cycle, people get wrecked. In 2021, a lot of people got wrecked. I've seen it. I've seen people that were up 6 figures go down to 0, right? Boom, just 0. Just people just being greedy, crazy greedy. And that's another thing, right? The psychology of crypto. That's another. How do you explain that to somebody? And that's something I always talk about, the euphoria, the high, right? Imagine you put 10 grand into your portfolio, it goes up to 100 grand. It's the most money you've ever seen in your life, right? But instead of taking profits, right, you take 50,000 for profit. You're like, no, you're greedy. So then you thinking, well, that 100 grand is going to go to a million. But then you see the money boomerang back down low again to, from 10 to 100, it goes then to 100 to 10, then from 10 to 5, and then from 5 to 2. I mean, this happens all the time. So the main thing you have to understand, like I said, the main thing is if somebody does ask you, you got to tell them it's not a get rich quick scheme. And the second thing that I always would tell people is you always have to continuously be researching. CBR, continuously be researching. Because with crypto, you can't get complacent and just look into crypto for a month or two and then take a break. It doesn't work like that anymore. The market is moving so fast now in regards to volatility and adaptability and utility that you have to keep up with it, right? It doesn't have to be on a daily basis, but I would say at least if you want to be in tune on a weekly or bi-weekly basis where, you just get caught up on the news. Because when I look at this thread in Lipstick Alley and you've got people, right, 2025, and this is mostly women saying that crypto was still a scam, it boggles my noggin because we have a president, right, President Trump, talking about utilizing Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. We have a Bitcoin ETF and an Ethereum ETF. So when people are still talking about it's a scam, tell that to BlackRock, the biggest asset manager in the world. So you know what I'm saying? And so for me personally, right, I don't have, and I made up my mind long ago that I don't have the whatchamacallit. I can't keep going back and talking about the same thing over and over. This is not manosphere content where, like these YouTubers always talking about, don't cohabitate with a woman or a woman hitting the wall, version 500. I don't have the luxury to talk about the same thing over and over again. Why? Because this is an evolving market sector. The crypto space is not the same space it was a year ago. A year ago, we weren't at 95,000 or 108,000. Heck, even 6 months ago, we weren't there. So a year ago, we didn't have ETFs at this time. A year ago, no. We didn't have ETFs. There was talk about it, but we didn't have it. And I'm pretty sure a year from now, when you watch it, it'll be completely different. So I don't have the luxury to talk about the same thing over and over again, right? Because the market is ever evolving. Another thing is that, I've had people say, oh, you should do this or do that. And that kind of rustles my feathers, because if you don't make content, you don't understand the things that I go through, right? You don't understand. And it ruffles my feathers because if you really pay attention to what I do, right, on Patreon, how I bust these things down, right? Literally how I just bust things down on my Transcendent Crypto Tiers list, how I review different coins and try to keep up. Bro, I really, really work hard. And I think that some people have this thing where they think, oh, well, you were so successful in a different sector of YouTube. Why can't you replicate that same success? And then you have to understand that the content that I was making before, that was, number one, this type of content that we're talking about, this content is not for everybody, number one, because you have to actually think and be a critical thinker to do this content, right? The other content I was doing before, that was just entertainment. That was just for shits and giggles, excuse my language, right? But this content right here is serious, and I don't play with it. I don't play with it because I know how people feel when their wallets are down. I get it. I don't play with it. This content isn't for dummies. It's not. Let's keep it real. So I think that at the end of the day, and I've said this before because I've been in this space for so long, People are not going to get into crypto when we talk about mass adoption until, unfortunately, a critical event happens that affects the global markets. That could be the US dollar crashing. It could be the stock market crashing. It could be some sort of a war, God forbid, but something that will really impact for people to jump on, right? Where mass adopt, they have to jump on, right? Because mass adoption can happen gradually, sure. I think once regulation happens, that's gonna, open up the doors now, because then you're gonna see not just Fortune 500 companies jump in, but you're going to see them also make their own coins and stuff like that. But I think for mass adoption to be adopted on a global scale in a major way, you need something to happen economically where people are going to be like, yo, I need to jump into crypto, this and that, right? And some people are saying, oh, that's already happening. But the reality is this, and you have to understand, I remember when I was part of the Goofy sphere, and I was trying to get these content creators that a lot of people respect, but they're clowns to me. But a lot of people look at some of these people like they're gods or idols, right? And I was trying to tell people like, yo, we need to talk about crypto. And one of them was like, no, we ain't talking about no crypto. We're going to keep talking about these women. That's it. That's what it was said. And this is where it rubbed me the wrong way, because instead of see, here's the thing. Imagine you are a YouTuber who has 100,000 or 200,000 people, and you would have told them about getting into Bitcoin when it was 20,000 or the crypto market when it was 1 trillion. But you refuse to do it because what? Your bottom line is more important to you than telling the youth the truth, telling the youth what they need to hear. A lot of these men talking about a lot of these topics is just, it doesn't do anything. The gender war, in my opinion, I got to keep it real, is a psyop by the government to keep men and women at each other's throats while they doing what they doing. Meanwhile, we're in the middle of a market where the global market is changing, financially shifting. And you got people talking about, oh, gender war, women hitting the wall, all this goofy stuff. That's why I don't really like real talk. And I always say this, when you are in tables with these crypto millionaires, I'm talking about cats that are worth 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, okay? I've been at these tables, guys. I've been at these tables. They're not talking about no gender war. I promise you that. They're not talking about no gender war. These guys are rich. What they talking about is, yo, man, do I want to marry a Nigerian woman or do I want to marry a white woman? The conversations are different, because when you're sitting around winners, they talk like winners. They're not sitting here, because think about it like this. Imagine you are a crypto millionaire and then you want to sit and talk about, oh, these women ain't submitting. These women, they're going to look at you like you crazy, bro. They're going to look at you like you crazy, because when you're sitting in these circles, these people are talking about how to win. They're talking about their successes. They're not complaining. They don't want to hear you whine. I'm just being honest. They're winners. They don't want to hear you. They don't want to hear that talk. To them, it sounds weird. And I know some people are saying, well, Soul, that's dismissive. That's just the reality of the situation. And I'm trying to, and see, this is the problem I have now with a lot of the content, is that it didn't evolve to the talk of like, yeah, the problem, the brothers did it, even myself back then. You did a good job identifying the problem, but what was the solution? You didn't have one. That's why you had Passport Bros and other things jump off. My solution is, you know what? If you have your own sovereignty, right, and you have financial freedom, then you can gain power through that. Why? Because if you have financial freedom, then you can make real moves. People that are in position of power have financial freedom or financial means. People that have power, have the finances, can get things pushed through in the legislature, through the government. They speak with what? Their wallets. Now, I understand you want to do it the grassroots style on podcasts and YouTube videos, but how are you going to make real, impactful, lasting changes when these platforms can get you banned and murked at any second? You don't have any power. With crypto, you have power. You have power not just because of the fact that you're your own custody, but you have power in the fact that you have your own sovereignty. And so you have to understand these type of conversations, man. Right? And I know some people are going to be offended, like, but here's the thing. You have to understand, a lot of people, if they don't get it now, they'll get it later. And me personally, if I know that 2025, I already know what's going to happen. It's going to be a tsunami. Let me say that again. It's going to be a tsunami of people that want to learn about crypto. They're going to be like scrambling, this and that. And you know how I know usually when the top is? Because this happens every time. When people all of a sudden call me and say, yo, what coin should I buy? Usually that's a sign it's the top. And I'm telling you this because for you personally, do not get distracted trying to help everybody that you forget to help yourself. Let me say that again. Do not get so distracted trying to help everybody that you don't even help yourself. You're so busy trying to get everybody on crypto that you don't even have a profit strategy. You're not selling. You're not doing you have to understand that when things really get crazy, you have to be in pocket to make sure that you're in a position to help yourself first. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to pay your bills. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be in pocket to make sure that you're able to take profit. Listen, I have no problem helping people. None at all. But here's my thing. When it comes to crypto and giving this information, I got to give it to you the way that I know it's going to hit. Because a lot of people, and I noticed, I've seen this for years, they just want me to tell them, yo, what should I get? This and that, this and that. And that's one of the reasons why I say, yo, join the Patreon. If that's what you want, join the Patreon, get this list. This list breaks everything down what you need to get. Cool. But the reality is like in this market, because it's evolving and changing, there's a certain level of continuous steadying, continuous learning that has to be done. It's a commitment. Excuse me. And a lot of people don't have, aren't willing to put that effort in, right? And there's a lot of people that are willing to put that effort in. And then also you have to remember, when you start to tell people about how much you got and this and that, there are people that just want to know how much you got because they want to make sure that you're not doing better than them. That's a fact. And that to me is very weird. But if you have a person that always asks you what you got or how much, that's a red flag to me. It is. Because one thing I can tell you is, I've never asked somebody, yo, how much crypto you got of this or that. I might ask them, like, how much do you think I should buy or get? But I don't say, because here's the thing, it's nobody's business. I don't even tell my parents know I'm in crypto, but they don't know how much I hold or what I hold. So here's the thing. My parents, right? Those are the people that I trust the most on this earth. If I don't tell them how much I hold in crypto, what makes some random person think, even if it's a friend, that I'm going to tell you? You know what I'm saying? So you have to be very careful because there are people out here that, let me turn off my alarm. There are people out here that they just want to make sure that they're doing better than you. And there'll come a point where you probably don't even want to tell people that you have crypto or that you earn crypto. I've seen it. I saw a guy in 2021, he became a millionaire. He got off social media because he didn't want people to know that he became rich, and he just got off social media, right? And I'm for some of you may know this on Instagram, I didn't post for a year. That was by design. I purposely didn't post for a year. From 2023 till last month, I didn't post for a year on Instagram. Why? Because I wanted to take a year off. Nobody really, except for only one person noticed. Only one person, nobody really cared that I was gone, except for one person. He's like, yo, where you been? Blah, blah, blah. And then I came back, and this is how fake people are. As soon as I came back, All of a sudden now people hitting me up and trying to, I'm like, whatever. See, it's funny because out of sight, out of mind is a real thing, y'all. So one thing I'm telling you now is, if you follow me on Instagram now, don't be shocked in 2025 if I disappear, but I disappear for good. Matter of fact, even if you try to find my Instagram, I don't think you will. You know what I'm saying? Good luck finding it. You know? So at the end of the day, and I know I'm all over the place with this, but the main thing is, I'm not telling you, let me say this again, because I know people are I'm not saying don't help people with crypto. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that when you help people, make sure that, number one, like I said, that they understand it's not a get rich quick scheme, because you're going to take L's in this game. I said that before in the last podcast. Number two, it's an evolving, continuous learning process. We don't even have regulation yet, and we're at 2025. You know what I'm saying? We might have it soon, though. Facts. You know? But the reality is that there's a commitment to, if you want to succeed, there's a commitment. And when you hear people say, oh, it's a scam, what's a scam in crypto is people that pump and dump, do these rug pulls. Those are scams. Or people that do fake airdrops or hack your wallet. Those are the scams. Right? When you buy a legit coin like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Shiba Inu, that's not a scam. Buy the coins and then put them in a cold wallet. Right? And so I want people to understand, like, yo, it's not your job to tell people about crypto. It's not your job to offer advice. If people do ask you for advice, I'm telling you guys, emphasize to these people that, hey, if you really want my advice, number one, it's not a get rich quick scheme. And number two, you have to continuously learn. And if they're willing to accept that, then number three, whatever you gain or lose, that's not my responsibility, because you see it on the channel too. And this is the last part of the video where people will get mad if I talk about a coin, and then when the coin doesn't do well or the coin dumps, then people get mad at me. It's insane. You know, it's funny. And this is why a lot of the stuff I keep on the paywall on Patreon. Like, if you look at this coin, for example, Pepe, we knew about Pepe on Patreon when it was at $150 million market cap. I didn't talk about Pepe publicly then. I didn't talk about Pepe on YouTube until it was like 1.5 or $1 billion market cap. But on Patreon, we already were up on Pepe, right? Because we had been talking about Pepe since it was $150 million market cap. Guess what? Even though I talked about Pepe at $150 million, I didn't get into Pepe then. One of my not biggest regrets, but definitely a regret that I didn't jump into Pepe. Right? And so you have to understand that the point I'm trying to make is that even on YouTube, people will get mad at me. Go, oh, this coin didn't do well, this and that. Guess what? I'm going to keep it real. Listen, I say it's financial advice for not a reason. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't tell you what to do. Listen, there's coins that I've not invested in, that I've reviewed, that I haven't invested in. Let's take a look at this one right here. Wad's Pay token. I haven't done a public review on this yet. Once again, this is Patreon. See, on Patreon, that's where we talk about these ones. Okay, let's do Ondo, for example. So I'm very bullish on this coin. I talked about this coin. Let's go back. I talked about this coin in January, y'all. Hold on a second. Let's go back, right? So I talked about this coin when it was like 16 cents or so. It's now $1.40. Guess what? I don't own Ondo. And the reason why is very simple, is that at the time when I talked about Ondo, I just didn't have enough money in terms of the position that I wanted to get. But I'm still looking at Ondo. I think Ondo's going to be phenomenal. This might be a $10 coin easily because you got BlackRock in it, right? But here, so every coin that I talk about or review, even when you look at the reviews list, right? You've got 100 coins here. Out of 100 coins that I've reviewed, I'm in maybe 10 of them. 10 of them. So I know people are wondering, well, it doesn't mean, well, number one, here you got these crappy coins. Those, I'm not in any of them. But not every coin I'm a review. right? I might look at the top 20 coins and I'm in those coins. I'm in half of those coins. And I know some people might be like, well, what's the point? Well, the point is very simple. I have a strategy that benefits me. It doesn't make a point of me looking at all these coins and then I get into all of them. All these coins serve a different purpose. So when I look at my portfolio, I'm looking at to do something different. And so my focus this year was RWA, finance, and AI. And those are the coins that I jumped into, right? So I know, I'm saying this now for the people that, oh, this coin you said would do this much, but it didn't. If you get mad at me, guess what, guys? I don't get paid by any of these companies. If a coin goes down, my portfolio goes down as well. If a coin goes up, my portfolio, Lord willing, goes up as well. I don't get no kickbacks. And so I get it. People always look for somebody to blame. So yeah, blame Solo because Solo said Shiba Inu is going to hit $1 and it hasn't hit $1 yet, you know? But when it does hit $1 and you didn't sell, you're going to love me. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, I'm saying this because at the end of the day, nobody's telling you what to buy. I give information based off of my research, my criteria, what I value, what I look for. I give you the information, and I hope that you're able to use critically thinking to apply the information I'm giving you and do your own research and get your own information. It's very simple. I'm just giving my opinions on what I think could happen, and then I'm hoping that you understand, because I break down how I think very easily. I don't think, like I said, I'm not Quincy Jones. Shout out to him, Mr. XDC. I'm very like basic with the information. I don't talk very fast. I'm not super duper high IQ. I'm just being honest. I look at it this very simply, and if it makes sense to me, if it's logical, then I jump in, right? And even if it doesn't, even if it's not logical from a tokenomics point, if it's logical from a sentimental point, like for example, let's say I jumped into Pepe. Why? Because it's got a robust community. That may not be logical from a numbers point, but it's logical from a sentimental point because what? It's got adoptability factor due to that community, okay? So yeah, that's really it. I mean, it's 2025, guys, is going to be a volatile year in crypto. It's going to be an amazing year in crypto. And I think that it's very important that you understand that it's going to be a lot of people coming in. And unfortunately, I won't be able to help everybody. That's one of the reasons why I started the crypto course, right? And I'm looking to re-upload that again. So hopefully by the time the altcoins really start running, I'll have the crypto course back up. But that's also why we have the Patreon, right? Because the Patreon basically gives access to information in real time. Plus you get updates on my Trendsetter tiers list, and you get access to my Trendsetter Telegram group where I'm very active. I'm the most active person on there. You feel me? But at the end of the day, all I'm telling people is this. I don't have time to sit back and listen. I argued not just with financial advisors on YouTube in 2018, but also in person for the free. I don't have time. Listen, I argue with bosses already. I don't have time to argue with people in 2024 about if Bitcoin or crypto is legit when you have the President Trump talking about using it as a strategic reserve, when you have now talks about USA crypto companies being tax exempt, that they, if you invest in those companies, you don't have to pay taxes. I don't have time to argue with people anymore about stuff that I was arguing with people about 5, 6, 7 years. I just don't have time because right now things are moving so rapidly that if you're not keeping up or understanding which trend is about to happen, you might miss out. It's too much at stake. It's too much at stake to be arguing with people. It's just too much at stake. Now, the crypto wolf says it's a double-edged sword. On one side, you want to tell them because you see the value. And on the other, you're worried that they may jump in and fail or even try to take advantage of you. As I've said many times, never give your time to those who don't support your growth. And I would also say that, you know, you want to be able to go on this crypto journey with your friends, right? Because I've seen it. I've seen, some other friends just have massive success in crypto, right? And you want to go on that journey that you're able to share people with. But you know what? Sometimes, man, you got to go on this journey alone, bro. You got to go on this journey alone. And even if you feel like you're going alone, God is always with you. Jesus is always with you. And I hope that Jesus watches over all of our portfolios, not just mine, but everybody listening to this, right? And Bob says, I always warn everyone I know against crypto. Most people are going to lose all their money in this game. Their blood won't be on my hands. But that's another thing. It's a lot. Like I said, 90% of people are going to get toe up because 90% of people are not built mentally for what it takes. Going through crypto, the psychological impact that it does to you mentally, being laughed at by people that you thought were your friends, being looked at as the weird guy. Listen, I'm not projecting. I'm telling you from personal experience. I done lost friends over this, or people that I thought were friends. People like, oh, damn, here comes this crypto guy again. Why is he always talking about crypto? This is one of the reasons why you really have to understand, man. Like, a lot of people, and here's the crazy part. A lot of those people then, they're going to roll their eyes and be like, oh, this crypto guy. And then one day when you pull up in that skirt, now all of a sudden those same people that were talking ish behind your back, now all of a sudden they want to act all like they knew all along that you was going to make it. And a lot of fake people, bro. And you have to, this is one of the things you have to, like me personally, this is why I don't talk to a lot of people right now. I really don't. Because a lot of people are fake. And a lot of people that you think are your friends are not your friends. Because those are the same people that'll talk behind your back and then they think you don't know. You know what I mean? Anyway, guys, I hope that 2025, may the Lord Jesus bless you abundantly. May all your dreams come true. May you have a lot of gains and greens in the crypto community. And may you continue to watch me. God bless. It's your boy Jones, and I'm out. Peace.